Today I'm going to show you how to graph some data points in Excel. I love Excel. So you're going to graph this atmosphere data, and it may not be less than 10. I have to rearrange it depending on when we launched the weather balloon. But we're going to look at this data. So your data will probably be down here at the bottom linked. And so let me load that up. So here is all of our data. So what I need you to do, and make sure you pay very close attention to this, is I'm going to hit Control A. And that selects all of it, and Control C. Do not try to just click and drag because it's going to take you forever. There's a lot of data into here. And I just copied that data. Now I need to load it or paste it into Excel. So I have Excel preloaded, and I'm just going to do a blank workbook. A lot of students will try to search for it down here. It will not show up. That is blocked for you. So you have to go into your apps, and most likely yours is going to be in Microsoft Office. A folder there, and then you can find Excel. Mine is in a slightly different place, but that's probably where you'll find it. So now that it's pasted or copied, we do Control V, and if I just click cell A1, that should be already default clicked. Control V will paste it all in there. So I'm going to full screen this so you can see that. And right now, everything is actually in the A column. So all of the clicks that you're going to do, you have to click the A, B, C, or the 1, 2, 3. I don't ever want you to click and drag any cells because that's not going to work for you. So let's start by clicking the A column. And right now everything is kind of a mess right here. We have to rearrange this so that all of the data is in the particular column. So if you click Data, then Text to Columns, and we want to do Delimited. So click Delimited and go to Next. And then watch what happens down here when you click comma. It separates everything by commas. I don't have tabs as delimiters, so I'm going to actually uncheck that. I don't think that matters with this one. Then we click Finish, and then, oh, magic. It's beautiful. But now we have extra data that we don't need, so I want you to delete this. So if I click and drag, again, clicking the letters at the top from K to O, I don't need the internal use stuff. Now I'm going to right-click, and then I can delete that. So I highlighted it by clicking and dragging, and right-clicked it to delete. I don't need this H column, so I'm going to click H. Remember, do not click and drag cells. It does not work. Click the H column, right-click, and delete that. Now, the last thing you need to do is, because what I'm trying to do here is find, just get all the numbers and data that are important to me. Well, that internal use stuff is just garbage stuff. I don't really need that. I'm not really going to need the velocity here or the heading or the latitude and longitude. However, if you want to keep those on there to play around with that and see what that graph data looks like, then go ahead. But what I can see here is looking at this data, it didn't really start to collect data until right down here, because the altitude, and that's what this is, we're a mile high, and that's about 1,600 meters. So I'm going to click from the 2, don't click the data cell, click the 2, and I'm going to drag down to here so I get all of that, and then right click and delete. Now I have all this data at the top. Now, what you would not know, unless you graphed all of this the way it is that at the bottom, there's also some garbage data. So you always want to kind of check both ends. You can see what happens. The data kind of stopped. And if I scroll up just a little bit, so I'm on around cell 1172. It's probably close to where yours will be. I'm going to click this cell once, and then I'm going to shift click all the way at the bottom. So you got to be careful here. I click that once, it needs to stay highlighted. I'm going to drag all the way to the bottom, and then I'm going to hold shift down and click this one. And you can see that highlighted all of that. Now I'm going to right click and delete. So that's gone. Now I only have the data that I need in this case. The next thing that I need to do is graph this. So I want to graph altitude and temperature and pressure and temperature. And altitude and pressure. So to graph altitude and temperature, I'm going to click and drag these two columns, G and H, and then do Insert Recommended Chart. And it should show up like this. If, though, you have some other cell clicked, and we try to click and drag and something else is clicked, like that cell in a weird way, it's not going to work. You're going to get an error. So you just got to make sure that only these are selected. And we're going to insert that one. And I'm going to sort of drag this over here. And then I want to do altitude. I have to control click, hold it down, control, and click pressure, and that allows me to select those two without including temperature. And then I need to insert recommended chart, and this is what I want also. It's a scatter plot. So click OK. Once you have both of these graphs in, your screen is going to be a little bit larger. Then I want you to kind of stack them nicely over the top of each other, and that'll help us when we start talking about this data. Once you have that done, you are good to go.